Welcome, everyone. Today's topic is from open rate to heart rate, engaging email strategies for 2024. Hopefully, you're all rested, you're all eager to learn a bit about the latest trends in email marketing and the best practices. I see some people are already active on the chat. Folks, feel free to share where you're joining us from today. Hope the weather is much nicer than it is from here, Holland, Netherlands. Hi, hi, Yvonne. Amsterdam, Cyprus, Vancouver, Barbados. Nice and sunny. I'm definitely jealous about that. Ukraine, perfect. Well, we've got folks from across the whole globe: Costa Rica, South Africa, Detroit. Perfect. Mexico and Canada. Folks, I'm super happy, super thrilled to have you all here. Thank you all for joining. I'm really excited about this topic. Folks, we've got plenty of stuff to talk about today, so let me just get to it. Before we go there, my name is Michael Leszczynski. I'm the head of content marketing and partnerships here at GetResponse, and I talk about email marketing quite a bit on these webinars, but also on our blog and resources. So if you're not familiar with me yet, I hope you will be soon. Hey, folks, Suffolk, UK, Amsterdam, France. Welcome, everyone, folks. This is great to see you all. So let me share a bit about the plan for today's presentation. So we've got a 1 hour long webinar, and of course, everything is recorded. So you should receive the recording within the next couple of days. You can ask us any questions you want throughout the whole presentation, but we'll also have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of this presentation. I'm joined today by my colleague, Mate, who's with me on the chats. So in case you have any questions, he should be able to answer these if I cannot see the questions right away. Awesome, folks. So let's get started. What's new in email marketing? And if you've joined us for the latest few webinars, you might see a few things that are overlapping, but we have to repeat them. We have to make sure that everyone is on top of things. They know what's happening because, well, there were some big changes in email marketing happening lately. So the number one thing that's changed is Gmail and Yahoo have updated their anti-spam policies, their authentication regulations. And what does that even mean? Basically, before, it was a best practice to send emails using a dedicated email domain. So, for example, instead of sending an email from Gmail on Yahoo in your from address, you use your own company domain. So, for example, Elon.Musk at Tesla.com or Michael at GetResponse.com. This used to be a best practice. Now this has become a requirement. Now, what happens if you don't meet these requirements? It means that your emails will be bouncing off, will be sent back by Gmail and Yahoo, and just telling folks you cannot have your emails delivered because we cannot identify you as a sender. We cannot see if you are a trustworthy sender. That's one thing that has changed, and we highly advise and recommend that you do obtain a custom domain and authenticate it. What does that mean? Authentication means that you go to your domain provider and you create new two text records. One is DKIM and one is DMARC. And these basically tell us, the email service provider and the domain provider and the mailbox provider, that you are allowed to send emails using this domain. So basically, if you go to this link below that you can see on the slide, you will be directed to an article that provides you in-depth guidance on how to do this step by step. We have videos. And there's a question about SPF. So SPF is not required. It is definitely advised. So DMARC actually checks what you do, what should happen if the DKIM or SPF are not passed. So there you can provide also the rule and the policy for what should happen with the SPF. It's not required. We highly advise that you do, but the new requirement is that you have at least these two things. So in the DKIM, you go to first, for example, GetResponse. If you send emails through GetResponse, you go to your account settings, the email domains, copy a piece of code from there, piece of record, and then you go to your domain provider and you type it in there. and that creates a new record. And the same you do for DMARC. Once you've got that, you can send out emails, and your emails will be much more likely to reach the inbox. The next thing that you should look into is the keeping your spam rates below 0.3%. Now, we usually advise that you keep it even below 0.2%, actually, but it's important that Gmail and Yahoo will be actually looking at this data specifically for their domains, right, or their users. So again, in the link that you can see on the screen, you'll be directed to the tutorial, but it shows you that Gmail has this Google Postmaster tool that you can sign up to, where you can verify your domain, and there you can see the complaint rates that you receive from when sending emails. So that's another thing that you should do. And finally, you should use a one-click unsubscribe. So this is a new method. Well, sort of. It's not necessarily a new method. We had it for a few years, but it's a method used by Gmail, for example, that in the email header, when you add that little bit, then in Gmail inbox and other few inboxes, you'll have this quick link for people to unsubscribe. That's one of the requirements. And the next thing is that you should process unsubscribe requests promptly. That means usually within the first 2 days. We have created a ton of content about this. You see the article. We actually have a graphic novel created by Mate. So this is a comic book explaining to you completely with if you're more into comics and you don't understand the technicalities of these things, you can follow the comic book. We have also an infographic and videos that tell you how to do it. For example, how to change the DNS settings for GoDaddy and other main providers like Namecheap. And finally, if you're using GetResponse, you don't have a custom domain, you can actually obtain a custom domain through us. Then we take care of the authentication process for you. So if you don't want to mess up the DNS settings, I highly recommend that you check this out. Now, there's some good news about this. So I know it sounds quite scary that we need to change these things and we need to learn the technical terms like DKIM, SPF, DMARC, etc. But we've checked within our own data. We checked the data for entire year of, so that was 2023. We checked all the emails that were sent using company domains versus free domains. And the good news is that better email senders, better email marketers that use company domains, they actually get better open rates. Now, I know open rates aren't like the ideal metric because some of it is affected by Apple MPP. But if you can see almost 10 percentage points increase in your open rates just by using company domain, that's something that you should do, in my opinion. It doesn't cost you a lot to do. All right, I see that Mate provided the link to the article with the comic book. Thanks for that. I definitely recommend it. It's one of the cool things that we've published recently. And one hint from us, although Mate did write all the dialogues in it, etc., but he actually used AI a lot to put it together. So all the images they will see there have been actually created using AI. So this is another cool use case for AI if you're not using it just yet. Okay, so the next thing that's happened in email marketing is that Gmail actually started to remove inactive accounts, and they published information about this last year, but they said that this will start happening in December 2023. So it is likely that you will see higher bounce rates from Gmail domains in your reports. Now, the good news is that from what we saw, this hasn't actually affected any deliverability of any of our customers as a whole. Interestingly, the type of bounce that Gmail is providing is not a hard bounce, not a user unknown bounce, but it is the full mailbox or out of storage type of bounce. Now, another good news is that you don't have to actually do anything about it at the moment, because GetResponse, for example, automatically removes contacts that generate this type of bounce after 4 attempts of delivering your email. Now, the other thing that you should do, however, is to keep your email list clean, so this doesn't happen too often, so that your campaigns aren't affected by these kinds of things. Because if someone has not been active for the 2+ years, then it's likely that they have not generated any opens, they have not generated any clicks or any conversions whatsoever. So it's another thing to keep in mind, that these people weren't really adding value to you in the first place. And the third thing, which I hinted here about AI, is that there are more and more use cases for AI in whole marketing, but in email marketing specifically, because now you can use AI to do pretty much everything: write emails, design email templates, tweak your existing copy. That's the latest addition that we've added to GetResponse. So you can change your existing copy, or copy that AI has created you in the first place, then you tweak it to make it longer, shorter, change the tone, etc. You can optimize the send time and provide product recommendations to your recipients. Or if you use, for example, ChatGPT, that's something that I like to do, is to ideate campaign ideas and segmentation ideas for my audience. So that's something that you can use AI to simplify your campaigns. And again, there's some good news. So we analyzed the users, GetResponse users that use the AI assistant, and we saw that folks that did use it, so an increase in 33% in average CTR. So if you've not used AI before, you're not sure whether it's worth it, I would suggest still that you test it out and just play around with it. Speaking of AI, we've got also a really good guide prepared here by my colleague Mate, with some really good AI prompts. So if you've not played around ChatGPT before, it explains to you how you can use it, multiple ways you can use it, but also when you look at the prompts that we share there, you can actually understand the logic, how you should create these prompts, so that you'll receive very good answers, not these generic answers from that ChatGPT likes to prepare, likes to give away to users. Because if you ask it, something very simple like please write a copy about this and that, it will create a copy that is probably like meh, not very useful. But if you ask it in a very thorough way and provide some details about your tone and style, about the audience, about you can give it examples of your previous copy, you can definitely get better results. All right, so that takes us to the second part of this webinar, which is the 2024 trends and winning strategies. And a bit of a disclaimer here. I've added an asterisk here because most of these trends are not just something that's happening within just 1 year. These are the things that have now become evergreen, and we can observe them across the world. And most of them, in my opinion, have sped up. They've not originated, but definitely accelerated since the pandemic. So the first thing is personalization. And I know we talk about personalization quite a lot, but the truth is that people do expect to receive personalized experiences. They like them, they appreciate them. And from the data that we saw, this is something that helps you do better business. So this is data from McKinsey, and they identified that over 70% of folks actually expect to receive receive personalized interactions, and 76% actually get frustrated when this doesn't happen. What's interesting is that if you do offer personalized experiences, customers are more likely to recommend you further, to purchase from you, and repurchase. So that's one of the things that you can do to improve your marketing altogether, not only email marketing. So how can you do that? You have to be mindful, though. One thing that is funny is that marketers quite often think that they provide good value, good personalized experiences, but when you ask consumers, they're not as appreciative, I would say, or they don't see the same amount of personalization that marketers think that they provide. So this data comes from segment.io. So as you can see, 85% of businesses say they offer personalized experiences, but only 60% of customers say that they receive those. So there's some, I guess, a mismatch between what we think we offer and what our customers notice and what our customers actually value in those experiences. So how can you personalize your email campaigns, for example? You can definitely add personalized text overlays. So for example, on the left, you can see an email that mentions someone's name. So Steven, don't miss out on this offer. You can do it within text, or you can do it on images. You can even you can provide real-time images that are personalized based on someone's location or some information about their location. You can actually see a lot of good examples of this in our ebook, Beyond Personalization. This was created by GetResponse and Nifty Images. So Nifty Images is this really cool tool that helps you create these countdown timers, personalized images that you can then add to your GetResponse emails or any other emails, depending on the provider that you use. Really cool use cases that you can use in your campaigns, and it's not very complicated. Their editor lets you just create these overlays, and then you copy and paste the code. Sometimes you have to tweak a bit the code, but it's a really powerful thing that you can do in your email campaigns. Now, there's a bit of a caveat in terms of these personalized images based on location. I believe they work great for specific segments that you know that are very active. For example, people that clicked your emails. But with Apple MPP, I would imagine that some folks might not receive the right kind of images there. So there's a bit of a caveat here because the auto opens do change this quite a bit. Now, other ways you can personalize your emails is to add, for example, personalized content based on the segment of your customers. So, for example, when we are sending our newsletters or webinar invitations, we do provide some content to one group. Let's say people that are interested in affiliate marketing. Then we have folks that are interested in coaching topics or consulting topics or anything else, or e-commerce, let's say. So we can personalize our content based on these customer segments. We can also use triggered campaigns or marketing automation campaigns based on what people do on our website or in response to the content that we provide. So even after today's webinar, we could essentially send out an email, a different email to people that attended and to those who didn't attend. And within those that did attend, we could identify people that are our existing users or non-existing users in terms of like whether they have a GetResponse account or not. And if you're an e-commerce e-commerce brand, you definitely can use product recommendations in your automation campaigns. So, for example, you can do it on your website or even in an email. You can provide recommended products, bestsellers, recommended products based on previous purchases or other purchases of people that are similar in your store. So these things can improve your in your email campaigns, your click-through rates, conversion rates, and deliverability too. Because the more clicks you get, and the more engaged your audience is, the better deliverability you have. The second trend that you should keep in mind is trust, privacy, and data security. This affects everything that we do these days, not only email marketing, but this is something that consumers are more and more interested in and they're more anxious about. So marketers need to keep in mind that when they create their marketing campaigns. And some interesting piece of data, again from segment.io, is that 55% of consumers say that trust is the key factor that they choose when they're deciding to shop with a particular brand. 55%. That's quite a bit, I would say, as a key factor. Interestingly, we talked about personalization, right? 69% of consumers say they appreciate personalization as long as it is based on the data they shared with the business directly. So not necessarily based on data that, for example, they received from data enrichment tools. And I have to admit, this does resonate with me. Whenever I'm being called, I get a text message or LinkedIn message, cold email, where someone randomly mentions my position, the school I went to, the companies I worked with, all of those things, they feel like they're out of place because someone just used an automated email, scraped some data and tried to reach out to me. I even don't like these cold calls when someone says, "Is this Michael? Am I talking to Michael?" Even before they say what company they're from. So I definitely can see this data to be true, that it's almost 70% like personalization, but when it's based on the information that we share, we actually offer to the companies. Another key information to keep in mind is that people not necessarily trust brands in terms of whether they're going to keep their data safe. The split is quite even, or is even. So you can see, do customers trust retail brands to keep their personal data secure and user responsibility? 37% say yes, 37% say no. That could be something that could make you different, that could make your brand stand out more if you make sure that the data that you receive from them is used in the proper way and that it's completely secure. The data, has been leaked so many times that people are distrusting, especially younger generations these days. So you have to keep in mind what you do with this data and whether you ask for the enough amount of data or maybe too much. But other things that you should keep in mind is definitely learn the essentials of cybersecurity. I know it's a very broad term, but it's good to know these things, to learn these things. Um, I'm the perfect example right now. So I just lost my wallet the other last weekend. So I had to learn all about securing my account, canceling all my cards. I had 4 credit cards in my wallet, company cards, etc., IDs, etc. It's a lot of hassle, but it also teaches you how to quickly secure yourself, how to get notifications if someone tries to buy something um, with your cards. So learn about cybersecurity. Enable two-factor authentication. So for those of you that haven't used two-factor authentication, basically when you try to log into GetResponse or something else similar, you will receive first an email with a code to confirm that you are the actual user of the tool. You can do it via SMS or app, for example, Authenticator app. This is super helpful if you don't want to risk that someone will breach your or get into your account. This is actually very related to what Google is doing by deactivating these accounts. The reason that they are deactivating these 2+ year old accounts is because most people that created those accounts and never used them or haven't used them in 2 years, they probably use the same passwords across different tools, different apps. They probably use very weak passwords. And in case their data got leaked somewhere in another, some website's failure, someone could obtain their Google account and other accounts. So that's why Google is actually removing this. That's why Apple MPP was introduced to limit the amount of tracking that we can do. GDPR, CCPA, Castle, all these things, they're all related to privacy because people are concerned about this. They want to make sure that you keep their data safe. So be mindful about the data you collect, how to use it, and keep your email list clean. I know we talked about Gmail deactivated accounts. You could have saved a lot of money by removing inactive contacts ahead of time, and you can do it throughout, as you use your accounts by just focusing on keeping your list engaged and clean. I see that someone's asking about the recording, so we should be able to send it to you within the next 2 days. So, check out your inbox for that. And by the way, all the webinars that we share are recorded and are added to getresponse.com/webinar-library or just our YouTube channel. You can find the recordings there as well. All right. As for trust and privacy and data security, another thing that you can do is to send emails using an authenticated email domain. I hopefully have convinced you to do this. It doesn't, require a lot of effort. But other things that you can do, because people trust other people, not necessarily brands. One common trend that I'm seeing is that brands are seeing a lot of success by working with influencers that can spread their message further because they can be more authentic. Creators can create awesome content on TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere, and they can help you spread the message further. User-generated content, reviews, just people talking about your brand. If you run a contest, you could gather a lot of user-generated content, and this way you use it as a social proof, for example. And creating a referral program to grow your list could be another great idea for you to explore if you want to grow your list and actually help work with your audience a bit better. So what you can see here on the slide is a brand called Surreal, and I think they do a few things very, very well. So first of all, you can see that they're using social proof. They use reviews in their emails that they collected probably on their website. But you can see also you can see that on their on social media they're very, very active. So on the left you can see videos of creators. Actually, I see a question about Surreal using GetResponse. Now, this is actually a random brand that I found online, so I cannot say that there are clients, but just I was impressed by their marketing, so that's why I'm sharing this as a great example. So you can see some videos on TikTok of folks reviewing the cereals that they produce or their ads. You can see also some in-depth insights from these customers in these videos. So, for example, what's important, that they have a lot of protein, that there's low sugar or whatever, like maybe the taste or even the coloring of the packaging. And finally, you can see an email with their referral program where it says we're bribing you and they will give you money on your next order if you recommend other customers to their brand. I think all of it matches together with the theme of just being more authentic in your communication. Now, the next thing to keep in mind in terms of trends is convenience and speed. And I think this has been happening more and more, especially since the pandemic. People just want things fast. They want it easily, in an easy way, and delivered to them in a very efficient way. So one of the things that I've noticed, and I've got data now to prove it, is that more and more folks are searching now on TikTok. I know I'm a millennial, so Gen Z knew this right away, but more folks, Gen Z and millennials especially, are starting to use TikTok as a search engine. Initially, that was interesting to me because I didn't see how you can do it. There's just a feed of videos that are fed to you, but actually it all does make sense because people, like especially younger people, they want things delivered to them in a very fast, interactive way. And this trend has been happening even beforehand, right? We had Instagram that was very popular. It's still very popular, but as you can see, people are now using YouTube, TikTok, and ChatGPT. These, in my opinion, are altogether slightly newer players or like more interactive players than a typical search engine. So, in my opinion, this suggests that people want something different. They want information to deliver to them in a different way. And interestingly, it's not just one thing that people search on TikTok. It's not just memes. It's not just funny videos of people dancing to music. They're looking for new recipes, new music, DIY tips, fashion advice, workout routines, health tips, TV recommendations, new restaurants, book recommendations, etc., etc. And as you can see from this chart, there's actually no clear winner. In my opinion, the data is spread quite evenly. So whatever the brand you're in, whatever industry you're in, the chances are that your audience is on TikTok as well. Whether you're a coach, you're teaching about personal finance or health and fitness, you're an e-commerce store, it's likely that your audience is there. What's interesting is also that people use TikTok because the format is digestive, very quick and easy in a way of distributing information, consuming information. They appreciate it also for the storytelling, because these creators, when they talk about your products or the things that they talk about, they provide their own personal stories. They are very engaging. The content is actually personalized based on your behavior in the app. And from what I've learned also as a user, but I've learned from all my peers, is that initially the app is learning what you like, and it might hit and miss, but later on it provides you very, very good information. So you as a marketer should keep that in mind. And the same happens on YouTube Shorts, but this is the data regarding TikTok. And people appreciate also that the information on TikTok is current, and it's interactive. So it's on Google. I think the challenge is that even though you can update articles, for example, quite often the information that you find is quite outdated, and the algorithms on TikTok just provide very fresh, very engaging stuff. But that's not the only way people are looking for, I would say something easy, something fast. They also search for information differently, right? TikTok and YouTube. They consume content differently. Now, audio and video are very popular. They access information on mobiles, not only desktops. They pay for products in multiple ways, multiple payment options, deferred payments, or methods, using a watch, using a mobile phone, and how their products get delivered. Same day delivery, in-store pickup. So it's a common trend that people just want everything in a convenient and fast way. So what you can do as a marketer is redesign your communication, be it email communication, marketing communication, altogether, with these things in mind. So, for example, we redesigned our resources communication more for videos. We used to just promote ebooks before, ebooks and written content. Now we are betting a lot on YouTube and videos. We will be using GIFs as well and providing high quality images, because people want information to be processed or sent to them faster. Images are processed much faster than written format, and people just don't. I would say they do read the stuff that is engaging, but if they can relax and just get the content delivered to them in an easier, why not do that? Other thing that I see is very popular among our audience are quizzes and games. So interactive content where people can just kind of play a game and get the information sent to them in a personalized way. So try that as well in your email communication. Invest in storytelling. I know, like, for example, on Google, when you write articles, storytelling isn't necessarily the best thing these days. The algorithm has changed. So I know everyone pretty much hates when they're looking, for example, for recipes, or even any blog content, how to guide, where you have a huge section that explains the history of the writer. Like, Google doesn't like that anymore. People don't like that anymore. But on YouTube, on TikTok, and email videos, etc., storytelling definitely sells. So pay attention to that. And when you design your emails, also pay attention to designing emails in a mobile first way. So more than 50%, I would say more about 60% of users will be reviewing your content on mobiles. So that means you should use larger images, larger fonts, bigger buttons, and usually opt for single column layout, because that looks much better. It's easier to read on mobiles. So do check before you send out your emails. Do an inbox preview test to see what your emails will look like. Because from what I see, sometimes it's very difficult to read some newsletters, even from very good brands, and you have to pinch and squeeze to see and to read the content. It's not ideal. Just try to optimize for the mobile experience as your default now. The fourth trend that we're seeing is, again, omni-channel. I know again that folks keep talking about omni-channel. That's something that's been I would say, happening for many years, but I think it's speeding up. And with all the trends about the privacy, about data and tracking being more difficult. So, for example, third-party cookies are going away. Your email data is becoming more central. It's going to be used in email marketing, in omni-channel or multi-channel approaches as well. An interesting data that you can see here is that something I think many of us, if not all, can admit is that we have made purchases even while we were lying in bed, we were at work, in the restroom, or in the car. Probably the only place I didn't buy anything was in the car, unless I was on the passenger seat. But other than this, I would definitely say this has happened to me. So that means your consumers are ready to buy or consume your content no matter where you communicate with them. So it doesn't have to be on a website. It could be on social media. It could be on YouTube. It could be on TikTok. It could be via web pushes and SMS. So keep that in mind. Another thing related to omnichannel is that the data suggests is that folks that actually communicate with their consumers across multiple channels, 3+ channels, they see higher engagement rates and higher purchase rates. So if that can help you get more customers happy and raving about your brand and purchase from you more often, why not give it a go? So a few examples of how we're doing. You can see that we've got some TikTok videos, we've got YouTube videos, we've got infographics, the comic book that Mate shared with you before. We're trying to as someone recently said, shoot with all cannons, but this is the way to go these days. You want to orchestrate your communication across multiple channels and provide an omni-channel experience if it is possible. Again, for smaller brands, using a robust CDP platform might be an overkill, but starting with an even multi-channel approach would be a great thing to do. And a few things that you can keep in mind is that multi-channel or omni-channel doesn't always mean that it has to be very complex. You can help each other, like the individual channels, to grow each other. So for example, we were running a course last fall, and the course was being sent via emails. It was introduced in a webinar, but was sent via emails. And the emails contained a video to a YouTube video hosted on our YouTube channel. And obviously, that means we've used at least 3 or 4 channels there. But the outcome of the course was that actually our YouTube channel was growing because people saw the content, they enjoyed the content, so they thought, why not subscribe there? So we had our customers' data even on emails, on the website, and we had their data on YouTube, so we could run a cross-marketing campaign. You can also learn from individual channels. You can see what folks are doing, what they appreciate in one channel, and try to distribute it to other channels. So use these insights across the channels. You can also distribute the content in harmony using automation. For example, if you have web pushes, SMS, emails, you can do all of that in one cycle. Naturally, emails are one of those things that people like to just send out and blast because you don't usually pay per email sent. People think twice before they do it with SMS because each SMS costs. If you add an image to an SMS, it costs even more. If you exceed the character limit and you have actually 2 SMSs that you have to send out, it costs even more. So people think twice about it. With emails, they don't do it as much, but I highly recommend that you do segment your audience, that you run triggered campaigns more, and just provide a very good experience for your audience. And last thing to mention is that you can and should be repurposing content. And as a content marketer myself, I know we talked about repurposing, and I never actually liked this concept because I thought it's just sending the same message in a different format to people. But actually, if you can tweak it to the format that people appreciate in that space, like with these TikToks, with YouTube videos that we do, and with the comic book, all of that content essentially sends the same message, but it's delivered in a format that people within that channel will appreciate. So I think in that respect, or in that manner, repurposing does work well. And finally, accessibility is something that you should also keep in mind in terms of consumer trends. So this is some interesting data. So I was actually quite astonished by this. So 1.3 billion people, or 1 in 6 worldwide, have some kind of significant disability. So that is, I would say, a lot. And from what we saw, about 90% of websites don't meet the basic criteria to be approved as that they're accessible. It's a good business. It's a lot of a lot of people around the world, their families, their advocates. All of that, can account to a big amount of money. That's one thing. So it could be a good business for you, but it's an imperative. We should create content that's accessible for everyone, and that can be done with emails as well. So here you've got a link to an accessibility guidebook that we created with email applers, our partners. But the general rules that you may want to follow is that you should write content in your emails in a simple and short manner. So not everyone speaks English or whatever language is your native language. Not everyone speaks the same level of language as you do. If you're very specialized in a very specialized niche, not everyone might have the degree that you have. They might not understand the lingo, the jargon. So keep that in mind. Also structure your content in an easy to follow way so that the words don't mash together, that you have clear headlines, clear bullet points, emphasized pieces with bolded text, for example, short sentences and descriptive anchor text. So instead of click here, just tell folks in the anchor text what they will see after clicking on that link. And finally, provide alt text to your images. Our emails are usually based mostly on text with images that have alt text or with videos that have alt text there. And even if our images are not loaded, the emails will still make sense. For anyone that doesn't load images or uses a screen reader, they will get the gist of what the communication is about. And I highly recommend that you also create your content this way so that people can appreciate your content no matter what their struggles are. All right. So a couple more things before we actually log into the app. So if you want more inspiration, perhaps you know or perhaps you don't, we publish some courses every now and then. And actually next week we will be launching our email marketing course. So for Valentine's Day, we'll have a nice offer. So anyone who upgrades to GetResponse paid account, they'll receive a free email marketing course. If you're already a paying user, do reach out to us as well, because you should get access to this as well. Plus, we have a list building course as well. So if you want to learn how to grow your email list and you're a paying user, do reach out to us because you should get access to that course. Great video courses, materials with step-by-step guides on how to grow your list and improve your email marketing campaigns. And we just added to the email marketing course, we just added a deliverability section that explains deliverability in more detail. Other ways you can learn about email marketing is definitely visit our getresponse.com blog /blog and a resource center. So these places are the go-to places if you want to read articles, watch videos, tutorials, infographics, and so on, and learn about email marketing. Now, we have two sections left for us today. So one, I want to log into the GetResponse app and just show you a few things of the ones that I discussed today, so you can learn them in practice. And then we also have a Q&A session. So I will just try to spend 5 minutes in the app and then leave enough time in case you have any questions. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So you should see my account right now and GetResponse. So what I wanted to start with is actually the domains section. So at the top left, you've got the tools icon. And when you go to emails and domains, this is the place that you can add your custom domain. And as you can see, I'm using Gmail accounts. So that's not great. We will provide you with the information that your emails are at risk. We have a paid domain, but it's not DKIM authenticated. We do, however, have added an address that is DKIM authenticated. That's gonna work well. So what you do here, you just add your email address, for example, Michael, and that's gonna be my company address. Once you do that, you should receive a verification email. Once you verify that, you will be able to then update the DNS records. So when you click on that, you should see the text records that I told you about. This is for DKIM. You copy this, add it into your domain provider. You then copy the other element, DKIM key, and you should also add it there. It usually takes about a few hours, up to 48 hours to work. And then for DMARC, the same thing. You create a new text record and just copy and paste this information, and you should get that authenticated within 48 hours. If you don't know how to do it, just reach out to us. We have plenty of tutorials that tell you step by step how you can achieve this. The next thing I talked about two-factor authentication. So in the top right corner, you've got manage account, and you've got two-factor authentication. So here you can actually click the email verification. You can add the authentication app or text verification. This will help you keep your account secure and keep your data secure, so your customers will also not be worried that you might lose their data. So these are the two things. Now, we talked about Gmail bouncing your addresses, bouncing your emails. So if you go to reports and just check out any of the email campaigns that you sent. Okay, this is a dummy account, so you won't see a lot of information there. But there you can see all the information for your emails. You can also see bounces. And at the bottom, you should see the percentages for different kinds of bounces. And if the full mailbox is the one that you see that is highlighted, it's one of the key ones, that means probably that Gmail is bouncing you, that you have plenty of inactive accounts. But to confirm, you can go to email domains, and here you will also be able to click and only see the bounces. So quite often you will see that, for example, if you had full mailboxes there, you will see Gmail appear here quite often as well. Yes, you can see also who unsubscribed from your email. So you'll see the reasons, the number of folks, and you will be able to get that information as well. All right, now I wanted to go to the actual emails. So let's say we want to create a new welcome email, and we can use AI because we talked about AI quite a bit. So let's say that I have a fitness newsletter. So I want to send a welcome email to folks that sign up to my fitness routine. So welcome email to my new subscribers who subscribed to my fitness tips weekly newsletter. Okay, I can provide my industry, so fitness coaching, and let's say fitness newbies is my audience, and this is going to be a welcome message. Once I get that, let's say I want to choose a tone. This is going to be friendly tone, and then I'm going to choose one column because I want an image, and I want a color scheme that is joyful. See a question about content writers. So if you are a content writer and you have a website, you can create a website with GetResponse or a landing page, publish an ebook there. If you have, for example, a newsletter or a course where you teach others how to write great content, how to add storytelling to your writing, you could use all our tools to build an audience and promote your business this way. We even have search ads feature, so you could run search ads with GetResponse as well. So here you can see that we've created an email. The image is not great, so because we did say there was fitness coaching, so we can actually change the image here and just look for fitness. Anything that might work for us, we'll see whether it fits better. Hopefully my connection is good enough to load these images. Okay, for some reason, this is taking longer than expected. So normally you should be able to change the images. Okay, these are paid images. I wanted the free ones. Okay, we've got the fitness ones. All right. So let's say I like kettlebells. So let's add it there. And we'll be able to use that already in our on our email. As for the copy, you can see that it generated some copy for us. In my opinion, it just looks a bit long. So what I can do here is just click on this AI feature here and change it so I can shorten it. AI is gonna create a shorter version of this. Then I can replace it. Looks much shorter. Obviously, I can tweak it myself. AI tools are supposed to be assistants. They're not gonna do everything for you. So definitely play around with this. What you can do as well is you can add details. So I forgot that I welcome to welcome my new subscribers. I can add them an ebook, for example. I can offer them an ebook. So mention that new subscribers receive a free ebook as a gift. The ebook contains my best meal plans or fitness routines. You click that, AI is gonna add this information, and you can see here new subscribers receive a free book as a gift containing my best fitness routines. I would still play around with it. It's not the best, but you get the gist. It can help you simplify your content. I use that quite a bit to translate content. So, for example, if we have a template in a different language, I can use it right here to make my content funnier, better, or just straight up translate it. The next thing that you can do, we talked about personalization. So here in the content, you can add personalized elements. So here, you can just start with someone's first name. I know like this is not like the best way to personalize content, but we also talked about personalizing images, right? So I talked about Nifty Images. So this tool that helps you personalize images. So this is what it looks like. In their app, I found an image that I wanted to personalize, and it says "Let's vibe," and then repeats my email a few times, my name a few times. So in each section, it will just replace the name with my name, and once I have that, I get a tag, a code that I can use. Now this code needs to be changed slightly to work perfectly in GetResponse, but I can show you that you just add a custom HTML here, place the code here, and that's how it should work. So the actual piece of code that we should have looks more like this. So slightly different code, but let me see if I've got an email open. No, I don't have an email open. Oh, but I can preview it. So here you click on preview, and then I can check, for example, this is going to show for a user from my list. His name is Bob, and shows you what the image looks like. Let's vibe Bob, Bob, Bob. Perfect image, and can personalize that for you. You can also add countdown timers, for example, to make your emails more powerful and more fun. All right, so let's go back. And finally, I wanted to show you that also we talked about keeping your email list clean. So inside GetResponse, you can also, for example, quickly identify users, subscribers that haven't opened your emails in, let's say, 108 days. So message not opened, any message, and let's say last n days and last 180 days, including today. That should show me 68 people that haven't opened any of my emails in last 180 days. And I could save that as a segment, non-openers, 180 days. And that will actually automatically update every single day. So, if someone has not opened my emails today or tomorrow, etc., that list, the number is going to be dynamic. All right. I promised some time for answers, so let's go back to the webinar room. And okay, and let's see if you folks got any questions. So we've got a few minutes left, so let's play around and see. All right. How many lists can we maintain at one time for our website newsletter? Actually, I don't think there's a limit in terms of number of lists that you have inside GetResponse. Definitely not a small number. Just a best practice is that if you run one business in one language, I would recommend that you hold everything in one list and just have separate segments within that list. That's going to help you keep everything clean, all the data stored in one place, all the statistics stored in one place, or the tags, custom fields in one place. Otherwise, if you use multiple lists, that can become a bit messy because, for example, the same subscriber in one list will have some information and it will have different information in another list. Okay, I saw that someone was asking about Nifty images, so Mate already shared. That's niftyimages.com. Highly recommend these folks. Okay, there's a question about a replay. Definitely, we'll be sending out the recording. Let me see. And do we recommend any websites regarding cybersecurity? We have an article on GetResponse.com about cybersecurity 101. So I highly recommend that you check it out. And that article was actually written by a partner of ours. It was a guest article. So it will recommend you some good sources of information. But from what I know, aura.com is quite popular in this space. They provide good content on the blog and on YouTube as well. So you might want to check them out. All right, let me see if we have any questions. Is it effective to offer email content to be delivered via text, as in plain text instead of images and text, or you mean SMS? I'd like to probably learn more about this, but SMS. Okay, so I would say that's pretty expensive. If you can do it, sure. If you can afford it, and if someone, for example, would be willing to pay. I actually saw some services that offered this, but in my opinion, it's usually better to have an email and just get people used to reading your emails than SMSs or text messages, because each SMS just costs more. It's more difficult to keep growing. But if they're paying for it, let's say as a subscription, why not? Why not give it a try? But you have a limit in characters, in the types of media that you can include. So my advice would be to start with emails. All right, let me see. Is there a tool that makes personalized videos? Name in the video, number of points. There is. I think Vidyard used to offer this. I would check them out. So if I'm not mistaken, that's Vidyard. I remember they were known for this. But Mate, we will have to follow up on this and see all the partners in the integration center who could do this. From my personal experience, personalized videos can be fun. We actually ordered one of them for Christmas, and in that Christmas video, we had Santa read out our sons' names and refer to them a few times, showed an image of our sons, photos of them, and refer to them a few times, how they behave, how they are for each other. So I think this could be cool as a tool, as a campaign. Another example, I received an email from one of the airlines, I think Lufthansa, sent me a video where they would say my name and happy birthday in 100 languages or so. So it can be cool. Yeah, Bonjoro is actually one of the tools that can provide personalized videos. All right, folks. I see we've got no other questions and we're on time. So let me just thank you, folks, for joining today. I hope you enjoyed this session, and we'll send you the recording within the next few days. And once again, thanks for being here with us, joining us, and I hope you learned quite a bit today. And happy emailing in 2024. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.